My name is Victor. This isn't a story I heard. It's something I lived through. I can't tell you exactly where that town was, but it was nestled in the foothills near a well-known city in Oregon. The town was small, old, mysterious, surrounded by mountains and farmland. This little town sat right in the middle. When I first got my job, company work took me to Willow Creek. Back then, I had no idea I'd witnessed something terrifying there. I was living in a bachelor pad in Portland back then. About 4 to 5 years ago, I was working for a construction company. One day, I was scheduled to go to Willow Creek for marketing. The town was small, but land plotting was happening there. I figured I'd get work done and explore a bit. The company had a small office on site. Nearby was a diner. After finishing work one evening, I went to that diner for coffee. That's where I met Sarah, who worked there. She was from the town, quiet but sharp. Gradually, my visits increased due to work, and Sarah and I became friends. We'd often sit at the diner counter, chatting. Over time, Sarah opened up. One day, she told me something that still makes my blood run cold. "Victor, do you know there's a well behind our town? But the townsfolk are terrified of it." I laughed. Wells are normal in towns. What's scary about that? "No, this well isn't normal," she insisted, deadly serious. "People call it the swallowing well." Seeing the gravity on her face, I fell silent. An odd curiosity stirred inside me. The town itself felt strange, normal by day, but as dusk fell, an eerie silence descended on the streets. Kids vanished, doors locked early. An unspoken dread hung over the whole place. That evening, Sarah started sharing stories from her childhood, and I began to understand the deep darkness hidden beneath Willow Creek's quiet. When I was in 6th grade, she began, her voice low. Terror gripped the town. 5 people died in a single month. 1 woman, 2 girls, and 2 boys. All jumped into that well. No one understood why. One after another, people died. Police came, investigated. Some said they drowned while bathing. Others said it was suicide. But the townsfolk knew the truth was something else. They felt something in the well, something that pulls people in, drags them down into the water. Hearing this, a chill ran down my spine. "Then why do people go near it?" I asked. Sarah paused, looked me straight in the eye. "I don't know, but I think something in that well hypnotizes people. Once you go there, you never really come back. Or if you do, you're changed." Moisture glistened in Sarah's eyes as she told me another story, one that haunts me to this day. Our neighbors were a poor family, a husband and wife, 2 kids. They worked as farmhands. The older sister was about 9 or 10, the little brother maybe 5 or 6. A simple, sweet family. One afternoon, the kids were playing with others. The boy kicked his ball too far, straight toward the well. He didn't realize where he was going. His sister saw him run towards it and chased after him. She found him standing at the edge, staring fixedly into the dark water, like something was calling him. She grabbed him and yanked him back. But after that, he was different, completely silent. Wouldn't talk to anyone. If you touched him, he'd flinch. His eyes cold. His voice became strangely deep. His parents took him to a doctor. Nothing helped. But one night, something happened. Sarah shuddered. His mom woke to the sound of the front door rattling. She saw a shadow near it, small like a child. She looked at her son's bed. It was empty. She woke her husband. They rushed to the door, turned on the light. The father pulled the boy away from the door, demanding, "What are you doing?" The boy twisted his neck sharply and snarled in a raspy woman's voice, "Don't touch my body." His parents froze. They finally understood this wasn't normal. They tied him down that night. He was thrashing, hurting himself, trying to get back to the door. They took him to a preacher. The preacher looked at the boy and said plainly, "Something is inside him." 2 spirits, a man and a woman, fighting for control. The parents were terrified. It all started after the well. The preacher gave them sacred ash, told them to apply it daily and never leave him alone. Not at home and never outside. The mother took leave from work. She watched him constantly apply the ash. Slowly, he seemed calmer, but the red glint in his eyes and the terrifying way he spoke remained. Eventually, she had to return to work. They were poor. They couldn't afford not to. The boy seemed better, and the older sister, now 10, was given the responsibility to watch him. She understood. Sarah paused again. "What happened?" I whispered. "Did he get better?" Sarah took a deep breath. Everything seemed normal that day. Both kids were home. He had the ash on her. She was watching him. They were playing. Then, they heard a truck horn outside. Someone driving past. Suddenly, the boy stood up and bolted for the door. Before his sister could react, he flung it open and ran across the yard towards the road. She chased him, but she was too late. He stood by the roadside. That red glint was in his eyes. A horrible smile twisted his face. A truck was speeding towards him. Sarah's voice trembled. That 5-year-old boy just looked back at his sister, smiled faintly, and stepped right in front of the truck. The brake screamed, but it was too late. He was gone. People said the well had taken another sacrifice, that something in it possesses bodies, takes over souls. His parents came home screaming. His sister trembled uncontrollably, and the only thing on every face in Willow Creek was pure terror. Sarah fell silent, but that story lodged itself in my brain. That night, I stayed in town for work. After dinner, I went for a walk near the office. My gaze drifted towards the direction of the well. I remember it clearly. A faint mist seemed to rise there. Shadows shifted. Maybe it was my imagination, or maybe the shadows of souls trapped near that well. The well is still there, just as old, just as dark, just as terrifying. The town has grown, changed. People come and go. New houses are built. But around that well, silence remains. A living silence, like something breathes there, waiting. I got transferred, but this story, this memory, and the shadows of that well are still with me. Because some places never let you go, and some wells are never empty. Something dwells inside them, something whose hunger is never satisfied.